Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something I know is pretty top of mind for a lot of us navigating 2025.
Yeah. What's that?
This whole focus on morning routines and, these broader wellness rituals too.
Oh, yes. Definitely seeing a lot about that.
We actually got a really interesting set of sources sent in by one of you, so thanks for sharing.
Oh, great. What are we looking at?
We've got 10 morning routines of successful people that will upgrade your life in 2025 from a site called Goddess.
Okay.
Then Early to Rise, why a CEO's morning routine is critical in 2025. That's from Forbes.
Right. Forbes often covers that leadership angle.
And finally, how routines and rituals are defining 2025 wellness trends from Pure Beauty.
Pure beauty. Okay. So a mix of success, leadership, and general wellness. Interesting combo.
Exactly. So our goal for this deep dive is really to pull out the key insights, the practical stuff from these articles.
It makes sense. Understand the why behind it all.
Yeah. Why is there such an emphasis on routines now? And how can you maybe apply some of this for your own growth, personal or professional?
Okay, let's get into it. So what is driving this big focus on morning routines in 2025? What are the articles saying?
Well, it's interesting because both Goddess and Forbes seem to point towards something similar, like a fundamental need.
Okay.
Goddess really emphasizes using that morning time to, get ahead on your personal goals. Gives you that head start they talk about.
Right. Carving out time for yourself.
But Forbes looks more at the leadership side. They suggest that with all the uncertainty, the pressure in global markets, tech changes, all that,
Yeah, it's a lot.
a solid morning routine gives you something really vital, like a sense of control, personal space.
Okay. Control in the chaos. It's about reclaiming some agency before the day runs away with you.
Exactly, like building a mental fortress before the onslaught.
I like that. A mental fortress. And does Forbes have any data on this?
Yeah, they do mention some interesting numbers. It was from a 2022 survey, so a little while back, but probably still relevant.
Okay. What did it find?
It showed a big chunk of CEOs were early risers.
Mhm.
Like 64% were up by 6 a.m.
Wow. 6 a.m.
and nearly 90% by 7 a.m.
So it really suggests this isn't just some, fleeting trend. It seems pretty established, especially for people in demanding jobs.
For sure. And likely just as important, if not more, in 2025. But it does make you think, though.
What's that?
Is there a risk of just saying, wake up early equals success? What about people who just naturally need more sleep or have different chronotypes?
That's a really important point. And Forbes does kind of address that.
Oh, yeah.
They
Right.
stress it's not just about the specific time you wake up. It's more about intentionally creating that protected time.
Ah, okay. The intention matters more than the hour.
Exactly. Before the emails, the meetings, all the external demands start pouring in, they call it creating a sacred window.
A sacred window. I like
Yeah.
that. To focus on what? Yourself.
Yeah, your well-being,
Yeah.
physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual, they mention. It lets you be proactive, not just reacting all day.
Which ties right back to that Head Start idea from the Goddess article.
Precisely. Getting time for you before the world takes over.
Okay, so let's get specific then. What are these successful folks actually doing in that sacred window? What does Goddess say?
Right. So Goddess lays out 10 key routines. Let's start with the foundation, which is...
Wake up early.
Yep, waking up early. They mention people like Tim Cook, Michelle Obama as examples.
Big names.
And they give a practical tip, which I appreciated. For those of you wanting to try it, they suggest adjusting gradually, like just 15 minutes earlier each day.
Okay, that sounds doable. Not like a shock to the system.
Right. And they also suggest sunrise alarm clocks for a gentler wake up.
Oh, those are nice.
Mhm.
Much better than the jarring beep, beep, beep.
Definitely. Okay, so after waking up early, what's next on the Goddess list?
Let's see. Huh? Practicing the Goddess's morning meditation. That sounds specific to their site.
It is, but the principles are pretty universal, I think. It combines visualization, gratitude, and setting intentions for the day.
Standard mindfulness stuff, seems like.
Pretty much. And the benefits they list are, what you'd expect. More positivity, motivation, less stress, feeling more open-hearted.
Okay.
They also mention a bonus prayer in there that apparently reached over 1 million people.
Wow. What do you think makes things like visualization and gratitude so consistently recommended? Like, what's the psychology there?
Well, I guess it taps into that need for purpose, maybe. Starting the day focusing on what's good, what you want to achieve. It kind of frames your whole mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can see that. Setting a positive trajectory.
Yeah.
Okay, what else are these successful people doing?
Journaling. Another classic, Goddess mentions Oprah, obviously, with her gratitude journal.
Right, she's famous for that.
And the advice is simple. Start with a prompt, like, what am I grateful for? Or maybe write down 3 goals for the day.
3 specific goals. Manageable?
Yeah. And then maybe review your journal entries weekly. See how you're doing. It's about clarity, intention.
Which connects back to what Forbes was saying about proactively shaping your thoughts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Using that quiet time.
Exactly. Directing your mental energy consciously.
Simple, but sounds powerful. What about moving the body? Exercise.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a priority. They mention Barack Obama, Richard Branson.
Okay.
And the link isn't just physical health. It's also about boosting focus, improving your mood, getting those endorphins going.
Makes sense. Does Goddess recommend anything specific?
They mention Kundalini Yoga specifically, which often involves movement, breath work, meditation. It's known for being energizing,
Okay, interesting.
but the main takeaway really is find something you enjoy.
Right. Not forcing yourself into something you hate.
Exactly. And they suggest starting small, maybe just 15 minutes. That makes it feel less daunting.
Yeah. Sustainability is key, right? If you
Yeah.
enjoy it, you'll stick with it.
Yeah.
Wait, what about fuel? Breakfast.
Mm.
I'm always curious about that.
Nutrition is definitely in there. Oriana Huffington is the example.
Okay. What's the advice?
Focus on high protein options, things like eggs, avocado toast, and add in superfoods, chia seeds, blueberries for extra nutrients. Fueling the brain, essentially.
Fueling the body, fueling the mind. Got it. What's next for setting up a successful day according to Goddess?
Reviewing your daily goals. This is about focus, productivity.
Who do they mention for this one?
Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, big hitters.
Okay. And the recommendation?
Pretty straightforward. Write down your top 3 tasks for the day.
Just 3.
Yep, the top 3. And use some kind of organizational tool. Could be an app like Trello or Notion or just an old school planner, whatever helps you prioritize.
That clarity must be huge when you're juggling a million things.
Yeah.
What about feeding the mind in other ways? Learning.
Absolutely. Lifelong learning comes up, reading or listening to inspiring content.
Like Bill Gates and his reading habits.
Exactly. He's the example. The suggestion is just 10 minutes a day.
Only 10 minutes.
Yeah. Focus on self-improvement, leadership, stuff related to your field. Even that little bit adds up over time.
Compound effect. Makes sense. Okay, what about something really basic like water?
Hydration. Yep, vital. Tony Robbins is the example here.
Okay, Mr. Energy himself. What's the tip?
Drink about 16 ounces of water right when you wake up.
Immediately.
Pretty much. They say you can add lemon or sea salt for like a metabolic kickstart. But the main thing is just rehydrating after sleep. Get the system going.
Simple, but probably makes a big difference. What about the mental state? Positivity.
Gratitude again. It gets its own point. Sarah Blakely, the Spanx founder, is the example.
Oh,
The suggestion is just list 3 things you're grateful for each morning, and maybe even share one with someone else. Spread the positivity.
that's a nice touch. Okay, what's the last piece from Goddess? Number 10.
The final one is about avoiding morning distractions.
The big one. Phones, email.
Exactly. Making a conscious choice not to dive into social media or emails first thing. Use that time for the other stuff instead.
Easier said than done for many, I suspect. Myself included.
Tell me about it. Reaching for the phone is almost like a reflex. It's tough.
Do they give tips on how to manage that?
Yeah, practical stuff. Leave your phone in another room. Or use those app blocking features.
Right. Protect that focus. Yeah, I think you mentioned a bonus section in Goddess.
Yeah, just a quick one. It basically just emphasized flexibility,
Oh, so.
encouraging you to mix and match, combine the elements that work for you. Don't feel like you have to do all 10 things perfectly.
Personalization. That's crucial.
Totally. Tailor it to your needs, your goals. Think about your own morning. What feels rushed? What would actually make your day better? Find your combo.
Such an important message. Okay, let's shift back to Forbes for a minute. Digging into the why a bit more, what are the core benefits they saw for CEOs? And how might that apply to, everyone listening?
Right. Forbes really highlights things like better clarity, more creativity,
Okay.
improved emotional regulation, and just feeling more anchored during a chaotic day.
Anchored, I like that.
They argued that those quiet, sort of noise-free morning hours, that's prime time for proactive thinking.
Shaping your thoughts, like you said earlier.
Exactly. Leading to deeper insights, maybe new ideas, a clearer vision. They suggest breakthroughs often come in those moments of solitude, focused thinking.
That makes a lot of sense. Getting ahead of the reactive spiral we can fall into.
Yeah.
And Forbes also linked this quiet time to leadership.
Yeah, they did. They mentioned a book, Lead Yourself First, and a speech called Solitude and Leadership.
Okay.
The core idea is to lead other people well, you first need to be able to, well, lead yourself. Be comfortable alone with your thoughts, reflect, connect with your own values.
So solitude isn't selfish, it actually builds leadership capacity.
Interesting.
Right. And they also talk about emotional regulation, which is huge for leaders, obviously.
Especially under pressure.
Totally. With all the volatility today, CEOs carry a lot psychologically. So those morning routines, mindfulness, quiet reflection, whatever, act like a buffer zone.
A buffer zone. Yeah. Helps you regulate emotions, build resilience before the day throws everything at you.
That's a great way to put it, a buffer zone, mentally preparing. Okay, let's switch gears again now. Let's talk about the Pure Beauty article. This one looks beyond just the morning, right? Broader wellness trends for 2025.
Exactly. So we've talked about structuring the morning. Now, Pure Beauty widens the lens. How is this idea of routines shaping wellness overall?
And what are they seeing?
A really noticeable shift towards slowing down, simplifying things, being more intentional.
Okay, less hustle, more intention.
Seems like it. They link routines and rituals to our need for structure, for calm, especially when the world feels so fast. And it's tied to wanting more natural, sustainable living, too.
So it's not just about productivity hacks, it's deeper, about balance.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they introduce this really cool concept, sense-escaping.
Sense-escaping, what's that?
It's about deliberately creating environments that engage your senses positively to affect your mood, your well-being.
How does that work in practice?
Think about using calming scents. They mention essential oils like blue tansy or hoe wood stuff used in aromatherapy for stress relief, better sleep.
Oh, yeah, smells. What else?
Textures, like natural butters, oils in your self-care routine. And sounds, like using white noise to create a calm background. It turns a simple routine into more of a sensory ritual.
That sounds lovely, actually, making it an experience, not just a task.
Exactly. And it's not all just about calming down. Pure Beauty also sees a trend of weaving in comfort and nostalgia.
Nostalgia in wellness.
How? Think familiar scents, like maybe high-altitude lavender reminds you of something comforting, or the cool feel of aloe vera, or even using upbeat music you love while you exercise, tapping into positive emotions.
Connecting the senses to feelings. That's pretty interesting. What about skincare? That's Pure Beauty's main focus, right?
Yeah, and they see a big trend towards simplifying skincare, moving away from those super complicated 10-step routines.
Oh yeah, those are intense.
Right. They talk about skinimalism and skin streaming trends from last year carrying over. Basically, using fewer products, but making sure they're high quality and effective, often multifunctional.
Quality over quantity. Makes sense.
Yes. And a huge emphasis on natural, sustainable ingredients. Aloe vera, jojoba oil, olive squalane, things known for hydrating, soothing, anti-aging benefits. Good for you, good for the planet.
It feels like it all ties together simplicity, nature, long-term well-being. Which brings us to their final point, longevity.
That's right. They connect all these mindful routines and rituals to that growing interest in longevity.
Living longer, but also healthier.
Exactly. It's about building sustainable habits. Wellness isn't just for feeling good today, it's an investment in your long-term vitality, your quality of life down the road.
So whether it's a CEO trying to optimize their morning or someone just enjoying a simple natural skincare ritual, the common thread seems to be intention and building habits that last.
That really sums it up well.
Okay, so bringing all this together from Goddess, Forbes, Pure Beauty, how can you, listening right now, actually integrate some of this without getting overwhelmed?
I think the key goes back to that bonus point in Goddess personalization.
Right. No one size fits all.
Absolutely not. It's about reflecting. Which of these ideas actually resonate with you? Your life, your goals right now.
Maybe just picking one thing.
Exactly. Start small. Maybe it's just drinking that glass of water when you wake up. Or taking like 3 deep breaths before you check your phone. Something manageable.
Yeah, experiment a bit. Be kind to yourself if you miss a day. Find what genuinely feels good and supportive for you.
And remember, these are frameworks, right? Not rigid prisons. They should support you. You can change them, adapt them as life changes.
Totally flexible.
Yep.
Okay, so let's recap quickly. We've seen morning routines, broader wellness rituals. They're clearly significant trends in 2025,
Definitely.
offering benefits from productivity, mental clarity, emotional well-being, maybe even longevity.
A whole range of potential upsides.
And the big takeaway. It's not about following a strict prescription. It's about finding adaptable frameworks that you tailor to your own life.
That's the core message, I think.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to mull over. Considering everything we've talked about, the CEO habits, the wellness trends, the simple practices, what's one single small ritual you could intentionally add to your day starting tomorrow?
Just one small thing.
Yeah, one thing that might create a positive ripple effect. Doesn't have to be huge. Just one deliberate action. Give it some thought. And maybe, just maybe, give it a try tomorrow. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.